I, 25F, made my 25M boyfriend cry and I feel like my heart is breaking from the guilt. I, 25F, and my boyfriend, 25M, were watching Avatar: The Last Airbender when I made a comment that he was like Sokka. He replied, "How? I'm not a baffling idiot," and I said, "No, but you are cynical and a hater." And he replied, "I don't understand why people say that. I famously like many things." And I said, "Yes, you like many things, but sometimes you can be too critical of, hate on things that other people like." Him being a hater is something we joke around about, so I didn't think it was new information. I glanced at him again and all of a sudden he started tearing up and then he just started crying. This is the first time I have ever seen him cry. Something in me broke and it still feels broken. I feel so horrible. I was trying to hold it together but I ended up crying too because it made me so sad to see him so sad. We talked about it a bit, and he said that it's a sore spot because so many people in his life say that, and it makes him feel bad because he doesn't want to be someone that is unpleasant to be around. He keeps reassuring me up and down that I didn't do anything wrong and that I'm being too hard on myself, but I feel like I crushed him. I'm so scared he's going to think I don't see him for all the other wonderful things he is and that I'm just like everyone else and break up with me. I'm so sad. Edit. I want to add some additional information. No, I was not trying to be malicious and did in fact think it was something I could make light of since we have before and it hasn't been an issue, hence me thinking it wouldn't bother him. Although, I do think I had some pent-up frustration given he had made a comment when we first started watching the show. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, "I don't know what I expected from a kids show, that was such an obvious plot hole," and I think this hurt my feelings because I really like Atla and it seems every time I welcome him into my world and interests he has something like that to say about it. Yet, we spend most of our time engaging with his interests and I am open-minded about them and have a positive attitude towards them. I understand the way I approached it was not appropriate and I feel so terrible. I know it doesn't make it better but I never, ever meant to hurt him. I just wish I can undo it and want to do everything I can to make him feel better. Edit number 2. Some of you are asking if he has ASD. He used to think he has it, but since being in a relationship with me, I am diagnosed with it. He isn't so sure if he does. He does have ADHD though. I think your reaction to accidentally hurting him like that shows how much you care about him. And his reaction to your original comment shows how much he loves you and respects your views. I see nothing but love here. And I predict a long and happy future, even if there may be a few tears along the way. I've been in his shoes. Many people in my life used to call me a pessimist when I'd started college. My friends, mom, and girlfriend at the time. My friends used to joke all the time that I would intentionally seek out things to be upset about. Honestly, I would. It came to a breaking point when my girlfriend at the time told me in bed that I seek out conflict and create problems from nothing. Years of being told I'm a negative person hit me at once and the floodgates opened, and I sobbed to her that I wanted to be better. I couldn't handle her and my friend's lasting impression of me being that of an unpleasant person. Cut to 2 years later, after a year of therapy and an anxiety diagnosis, I haven't been told that in ages by anyone. I think it's kinda sweet that you guys obviously care about each other as evident by your reactions, but being a hater is such an annoying and exhausting personality trait and honestly good for you for seriously calling him on it. Like going out of your way to hate on and ridicule things that other people like and enjoy is kind of a terrible habit and I'm glad to see he seemed to take that criticism to heart. That was an important relationship moment. I recommend you not call him a hater anymore. I mean, I'm sorry he's upset, and I'm sorry you're upset, but maybe he needed to be called out on this, and not just in a joking way. It sounds like he's self-aware at least and, hopefully, willing to work on it. I really don't think you said or did anything wrong. People who can't let other people just enjoy things, as long as those things aren't hurting anyone, get very tiresome. We all have enough to be stressed out about. Let people find joy in the little things even if they aren't your cup of tea. Sometimes we need to be called out by the people closest to us so we can change certain things about ourselves. You have empathy for him and that's a good thing, but don't let it keep you from being honest with him. It sounds like he needs your honesty. I, 25F, felt a surging rage towards my boyfriend, 28M, during intimacy. What happened? Me, 25F, and my boyfriend, 28M, have been together for about 6 months. We are really great together and I like him a lot. He's sweet and caring, funny, very smart and emotionally intelligent. It's the best and first really serious relationship I've had. But something happened the other night and I just can't understand it. We were being intimate but I wasn't really feeling it. This can sometimes happen and is not a big deal. The sex was consensual and nothing out of the ordinary. I just wasn't really in the mood and I started to feel this anger rising within me. I felt so angry at him. Suddenly I felt this surge of rage and I wanted to push him off and hit him, yelling, "Don't FC King touch me." I didn't, I just squeezed my hands really tight and the feeling went away. He immediately felt something was off and stopped. We had a good conversation after, but I didn't tell him about this feeling. I don't want him to think I don't like having sex with him, because that isn't the case. I just don't understand why I got this feeling. My boyfriend is so sweet and never did anything wrong. The sex was consensual and nothing out of the ordinary. I just wasn't really in the mood. You consented to sex you didn't really want in the first place, because you weren't in the mood? Yeah, stop doing that. Stop having sex when you're not in the mood for it. Anger usually happens when something has conflicted with our boundaries and we want to defend ourselves, or when we feel an injustice was done. You were not in the mood but went along with it anyway, and then you got angry at your boyfriend. I think you were really angry at yourself because you consented to what was happening even when you didn't want to. You then deflected this anger onto your partner. Why didn't you communicate if you want to stop and withdraw that consent? Your boyfriend did well to recognize you weren't into it anymore, but no one should be a mind reader. So you definitely need to figure out why you go along with something you don't want to do before you start resenting him. If you make a habit of having sex you do not enthusiastically want, you will start to feel like this, until one day you cannot stand being touched at all. It's how many people develop a sex aversion. Do you often do things you don't really want to do because you're afraid of upsetting someone? The sex was consensual and nothing out of the ordinary. I just wasn't really in the mood and I started to feel this anger rising within me. I felt so angry at him. No, you're angry at yourself because you consented to have sex while not being in the mood. He was just there, and you blamed him instead of taking responsibility. How did you end up consenting to sex when you weren't in the mood? That can be a self-betrayal and lead to angry feelings. I would try rejecting sex when you're not in the mood. Ended my relationship on Christmas Eve. Was it the right decision? 20F, 25M. Today, on Christmas Eve, I ended my relationship with my 25-year-old boyfriend after 6 months of dating. Throughout our time together, he repeatedly failed to meet commitments he made to me. His constant empty promises and lack of consideration for my feelings have taken a toll, and today, I reached my breaking point. For some context, we had talked for weeks about him attending a Christmas gathering with my family. I was really looking forward to introducing him to my loved ones and had even told my family he would be there. I was excited about the idea of him being a part of something important to me. But today, on Christmas Eve, he told me that his boss had called him into work, and he decided to go without hesitation. I tried to explain how important it was to me that he be there with my family, but he brushed it off, saying it wasn't a big deal and that he would see me tomorrow, on Christmas Day. This wasn't the first time something like this had happened. He's bailed on plans with me before and repeatedly made promises that he didn't keep. I told him how hurt I was by his actions, and this time, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I ended things, knowing I couldn't continue in a relationship where my feelings and needs were so easily dismissed. While I feel relieved in some ways, I also feel conflicted about ending things on Christmas Eve, of all days. It feels harsh, and I'm second-guessing whether I should have waited for a more neutral time to do this. I'm hoping to get some perspective from others who may have been in similar situations or have advice on how to move forward. How do you cope with the aftermath of ending a relationship when you know it was for the right reasons but still feel conflicted? You made the right choice. Breaking up on Christmas Eve might feel rough, but honestly, he had 364 other days to not suck, and he still fumbled. Choosing work over promises every time? Nah, that's a pattern, not a one-off. You dodged 6 more months of disappointment. Let him keep making excuses to his boss instead of you. No, you told him how important this was to you, and he felt otherwise. He had to know that letting you down again had consequences. He took his chances. I would only recommend that you block him. He will start to call you tomorrow to win you back, but it's too little too late. Hey, please let me put your finger on what's wrong and why you are 100% right why you binned him today. It is your first Christmas together as a couple, and regardless where you spend it, he is supposed to be excited to spend it with you, and that includes Christmas Eve, and that's what is off with this. He isn't into you as much as you are into him. I am sorry you are realizing this on Christmas Eve, but by his lackluster attention to your relationship in this last 6 months you have saved yourself a mountain of heartache in the future. Hope you have a great Christmas with your family without him. I'm currently going through this, debating on ending a relationship, and while I don't have any advice, I salute you. Info. What does he do for work? I am 31, ruined Christmas for my girlfriend, F28, and I don't know what to do. How do I go about this? My M31 girlfriend, F28, and I have known each other for 3 years, but we've been together for just over a year and we're currently living together. A few months ago, I broke one of our bedside table lamps by accident that she bought off Temu and was really upset about it. She said to buy her another lamp cause it took her a long time to decide on this one that she really liked. She's very particular with the aesthetics of our apartment, and the lamp I broke isn't sold on Temu anymore. Made things really difficult to find one that she'd be happy with, so I was putting it off for a bit. It's Christmas Day now and we just exchanged gifts to each other. She got me a nice buttoned summer shirt and new swimming shorts. Both of which I needed. Very thoughtful, very nice, and I was very grateful. I got her 2 new lamps for our bedside table. I did some research and covertly asked if these lamps looked good, and she liked them a lot. However, after opening her present, she thought it was a joke and was not happy at all. Doesn't consider it a Christmas present cause I still owed her some lamps from months ago. Now she's locked herself in our room, saying that I've ruined Christmas for her and I don't know how to approach her. I can't go get her another gift cause it's Christmas Day and everything's closed. She doesn't want to talk to me and I don't know what to do. You're replacing something you broke and giving that as a Christmas gift? After committing to replacing it? IDK the reaction might be over that top on her end, but she has a right to be disappointed. It's like she doesn't get a gift because you broke something. You broke the lamp. You both agreed that you owed her another one. You can't gift what you owe. That's a shitty gift because you're just replacing something that you broke. And then you did it really late. Also, nothing on Temu is particularly special or unique. If you couldn't find it sold again, you didn't even look that hard. Lazy all around. No wonder she's upset. You had the time to make this post, but you never bothered to make a post asking people to help you find the lamp? Def lazy. LMAO, you give her something that you broke? That was really shitty, like no effort. Pretty much she doesn't get any gift for Christmas. That lamp you broke supposed to be replaced right away and you get her something different. Well, on the 26th, get her something really nice. Now my wife loves a practical present, but I don't. The point here is that some people like practical presents and others don't. I appreciate the thought you put into it, but given you had already committed yourself to replacing it, it is a bit SHTTY to give it as a Xmas gift. Not sure this is in your power to do anything about. She will either calm down or not. Tears of joy, tears of joy, tears of joy, this can't be real. You gave her a replacement to something you broken months ago?